here's how giants try and kill mosquitoes.
Hey guys, Damian here with Regal Theaters. I have the legendary artist and creator Todd McFarlane here, and we're celebrating in 2019. This gentleman is going to break the record with issue 301 of, oh my God, Spawn, which is going to break the creator-owned record.
The longest-running creator-owned comic book in the history of mankind, right? Not just in America, not just in the world, ever, right? So the longest-running book was Cerebus. That was done by Dave Sim. And he years ago said, I'm going to do 300 issues of this book and then quit. And true to his word, and which is weird because 300 issues takes you 25 plus years. So not too many people at 25 say, I know what I'm going to do till I'm 50. But true to his word, he got to 300 and he quit. So as we got to 100, 200, all of a sudden you start seeing these numbers, and you're going. 298 was sort of fun because that was the first issue I did, Amazing Spider-Man, that sort of really kickstarted my career on Spider-Man, and then I go 300. That's cool because that Amazing Spider-Man 300 issue is now known as the Venom Origin issue, and now I go, I can break the record. And here's why it's important to me. Here's why 301 is important to me. It's not, and I'm going to talk about it tomorrow at my panel. It's not about, forget that it's a comic book. Forget that it's about Todd McFarlane. Forget that it's about Image Comics. Put all those to the side. It's a story that says that you should be paying attention, I think, because at least I see these stories and I get uplifted by them a little bit. And then usually they're in the business section. That some small little entrepreneur someplace in the globe decided to have an idea, decided to do it, and went against the big boys who all said you can't do it. They don't like competition. And they succeeded. And they fought their whole way, and 20 years later, they're still succeeding.
Willingness and perseverance.
That's the story. Like when I'm there on the panel on I don't care that you can draw comic books. I'm not here to talk to you really about comic books. I'm saying if you've got an idea for a dress or a new microphone or a wheel for a mouse or a chair collapsing chair, I don't care. There are a billion ideas out there. If you think that you've got an idea, then do it. And here's what I'm telling you. There are times when you can succeed and go against a giant, and there are plenty of those stories. I'm just adding myself as one of those examples. In 1992, I pulled out this character I created when I was 16. I said, I'm going to do this character now that I'm at that point 30, and I'm just going to start driving this character. And 27 years later, I still drive it, and haven't had to make any compromises in those 27 years. The person who started it 27 years later is still the same person. That's all you should get out of this, that it's doable. And if you're the person who's going to go, well, and you're going to make excuses, you don't have the right personality, right? You just have to get up every day, and you have to fight every day. My wife, she didn't like to hear me say it, but it's true, because she's like, is that true when you say that? And it almost breaks her heart a little bit that I just go, I feel I'm at war every day. Every day. I'm not angry about it.
Well, no, the reason why is nobody's going to do it for you.
Exactly. Yeah. Their job is to take away my shelf space. Their job is to deny me my ideas. Their job is to not want me to be a competitor. That's their job. I get it, right? My job is to say, no, I'm going to do it, and to stand up to them. And the success isn't the question. They always ask the wrong question. Well, how are you going to make a dent in Marvel or with the toys? How are you going to make a dent with Hasbro and Mattel? That's not the goal. The victory isn't slaying the giant, right? You guys, sometimes people get it wrong. You're like, oh, the little guy takes on a giant, slays the giant. That's not the story. The story is the opposite. Why can't the giant slay me? He's bigger. He's stronger. He's faster. They've got more money. They've got more people. They've got more marketing. They've got everything. Why can't they crush me?
Because you're doing something right.
Because I move fast. I'm going to tell you. I'll give you the answer. Because I move faster, right? I'll give you the secret. Big corporations move slow. Moving fast, well, that's half the survival. So I can just move fast. So when they try to kill you, right, this is how they try to kill you. They don't anymore because I move too fast. So I'm just a mosquito. So I'm going to be the conglomerate. And then Todd is the mosquito. So there's the mosquito. And here's how giants try and kill mosquitoes. And by that time, I've gone around 3 times, bit them about 4 different times on the neck, and I'm on the other shoulder, right? They can't make decisions fast enough. They can't make compromises fast enough. They can't move. When I go into a meeting, especially on the toy side, and I'm sitting there with the retailers, I go, let me just tell you my blessing and my curse, the size of my company.
Yeah.
I will never be as big as them. I'll never be able to give you what they got. But here's what I can give you. Speed and accuracy fast. You ask me a question, I'll give you a decision in 24 hours. They're incapable of doing that. That's their survival. So I'm a bit of a breath of fresh air in what these guys have to do is deal with big corporate. I mean, you can imagine Walmart is a Fortune 500 company. They've got a 90-day stock report they have to give, and so do the companies that are coming in trying to sell them product, and there's always this sort of crush. And I come in going, what do you need? I'll give you whatever you need. I'm here just to be happy. What do you need? And they're like, so you're not here to sort of fight with us because you need to get your stock up. I don't have any stock. Don't worry about me, right? And they're just going, oh my gosh, Todd, okay. And sometimes I've been in these meetings. I'm telling you, this is the truth. I'll be in a meeting and go, wouldn't this supposed to only be a half an hour? Don't you have the big boys? And they're like, let them wait. Right? I know exactly what that meeting's going to be. It's going to be some 22-year-old punk with an MBA. He's going to tell me what to do because he's got his quarterly report coming up, and he's going to try to shove inventory at me. I'm enjoying myself right now, Todd. Let's just talk.
And not to say that Todd McFarlane is against the Giants because
I'm not
working with them.
No, I understand the Giants. As a matter of fact, I don't get frustrated by Giants because let me tell you, if I was a billion-dollar company, I would start to cement rules too. Yeah. So what I'm saying is because that's a truism. I'm not saying it's good, bad, or indifferent. I'm just saying it's true that because they're so big that they move slow, that they can't be as experimental, that they're beholden to certain sort of systems. Change, for the most part, will always come from the outside. You don't see big dynamic change coming from inside.
No, it's for the people who can actually take the risks and not worry about losing their jobs because of the fear of
because they're not beholden yet
of the large corporations.
Right. Yeah. So there's a documentary that was on Netflix about some of the people that were running for Congress, and at the very beginning of somebody said to these young people that run for Congress, they're saying, now is the best time to be fearless because you don't owe anybody anything and you're not beholden to anybody.
And so with that mentality, you've been driving Spawn for 27 years now. Like you've pretty much, it's pretty much for 27 years, for up to issue 300. And you're making the 301 issue the much bigger one because that's the one where you cross the line. You don't just meet Cerebus, you
right. Well, I don't know. I'm not saying it's bigger. I'm saying for me emotionally,
you've been able to do things with your character and your brand that probably really hasn't been able to be done with a lot of the others. I mean, you've got the toy lines coming out that you've worked on. You've got in 2020, you've got the toy line coming out that you're partnering with DC Comics.
Yeah, the DC Multiverse that starts in 2020. Right. We're gonna have some fun with that. Right.
And you started with a statue that was based off the artwork from issue
423.
423.
Right.
Yep.
Right. And the thing is, we're working with big corporations because again, we've been working in 2020 with Warner Brothers, DC, and the DC Multiverse. I mean, we're doing the Fortnite, right? I mean, these are big giant people. So my job is to just get their confidence. Yeah. That although I'm a little bit of an art dude, that they just go, you know what? He delivers what he says he's going to deliver. He we sort of tested him the first 6 months, 8 months, 12 months of the contract, and he's delivered every single time. Maybe we should just give him a little bit more leash, and then and the more leash they give me, I'm going to always go to the edge of the box. Whatever the box says, they say that they create. That's their corporation. They get to create the box. My job isn't to say you should have a bigger box. My job is to be hitting the edge of the box at all times. Because if I'm not, I'm self-editing. Because if I'm not hitting the edge of their box, then I go, well, you mean I could have gone 4 more feet? Yeah. Why not go? You know when you hit the box and they go easy, Todd, right? Maybe that's not such a good idea.
It's easier to ask forgiveness than it is permission.
Well, no. It's easy to ask. Yeah. Here's the worst that happens. They say no. Yeah. Okay.
Well, again, you're going to be designing a lot of the toys in the 2020 line. So this is a chance for you to use to test those boundaries.
Yeah, but again, I mean, again, and now here's where I need to be fair again because I'm a CEO. Be fair to the people I do. It's their properties.
Yeah.
It's they've invested their money. They have their designs, and they know what they're going to do with their brands. And they're going to let some punk Todd come in here and start saying, hey, look, I'm an artiste, and I think you're wrong. No. They're going to just say, hey, here's our parameters, and then it's my job to get their confidence to see if I can get them at some point to expand some of those parameters if I have a good idea and reason and artistic sort of look that makes sense to ask the favor, right? If I don't, then I don't ask. But sometimes they go, hey, I got this really cool idea. Is there any way I can do it? If they say no, which is they're completely within their rights to say no, because they're the client and the client's always right, then my job is to either then come up with something better so that they'll eventually get the yes, or to just keep asking them over and over and over until I wear them out to a yes. Yeah. Those are the only two options, right? So tenacity a little bit is okay.
Well, let's talk back. Let's touch on Spawn some more because it's the longest running fan created. Owner creator owned comic. Where do you see Spawn going? Where do you want to go? Do you want to hit 602? Do you what is your drive for Spawn now?
Look, I've always thought. For me, and I'm not saying this is for every, so I can only speak for Todd. Right? So I'm not saying that what I do is right on any level, but here's what I know. My goal is always, can I create some characters or a character? Even if you only have one, that's not bad. Can I create a character that will outlive me? Because as I was watching people, like Walt Disney, and I'm not saying I'm Walt Disney. I'm saying like if Walt Disney's 1,000, I'm a one. I'm a one.
You are a creator.
So I'm a creator, and so Walt Disney created these characters, and then he passed away, and yet not only did these characters go and live on, but they expanded and thrived, and it basically created a whole new generation. Stan Lee now just became a recent example of that. Yeah. And I keep saying about Stan, as much as we said brilliant and smart and loving things about him, and he deserved almost every single one of those words. Yeah. I think that if we, in 20 years from now, we're going to look back on what we said about Stan Lee and go, wow, we only got it half right. And the reason is because he planted those creative children, they've blossomed, and then all of those ideas are then going to begat other ideas that are going to begat other ideas. Yeah. And although they may be the grandchildren of the original ideas, they still come from the same seed, right?
Oh, exactly. I mean, and that's one of the reasons why Spider-Man and a lot of the Marvel characters, even the DC characters, are so popular today, is because they were created by some very ingenious individuals who then gave them to other people to foster and grow. Right. And some of my favorite Spider-Man stories didn't come from Stan. If going back and reading some of the comics from the 1950s, they really, obviously, the times changed, so it's not relevant anymore. But the characters are made, and they're being fostered with love and kindness, and that's exactly what you're doing.
Well, here's what I'm going to tell you. Here's somebody who's done a book that now has, quote-unquote, longevity. Mm-hmm. If you're going to do a book, and it's going to go decades now, right? And so Spawn's now at 300. That's like I said, that's a 27-year journey, and these other ones are like 70-year journeys. Your Supermans and Batmans. Mm-hmm. You are going to have natural bell curves and ebbs and flow of everything in terms of creative people that are on it, in terms of story content, in terms of fan interest, in terms of the world reacting to your character. And you can't get caught up in the things that are just naturally going to come, that these peaks and valleys. There is nothing that's been around for 20, 30 years. I don't care what the brand is, that you can't say there was a couple high points and there was a couple low points. We can talk about it. The Mustang, the Ford Mustang, fine. You want to talk about the Rolling Stones and Kiss? We can talk about somebody's had a 30-year acting career. Like everybody that's been around in comic books, Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, there have been this thing right here, and your job is to just go, can I make it relevant enough that it just continues for another day.
Yeah.
And then tomorrow hopefully will be my better day,
Yeah.
right? And that's it. That's all you got.
And again, I'm gonna, since we're talking about Stan, I mean, essentially, the relationship that you had with Stan over the years, and the fact that you are a comic creator and you're creating your own characters and you're creating your own world, you are a Stan Lee. You are the next Stan Lee. And before you, this is me as a fan and fans out there saying, you are someone who has given us something to love and follow and foster and grow with, and it really is something that you are a Stan Lee individual. You have that longevity that's going to last.
Okay, so here's what I'll say. Thank you very much, but I'm going to push back a bit.
Okay.
Here's where Stan is the major leaguer, and guys like me and other people with talent like myself are the minor leaguers. I did it with Spawn and a couple other characters. He did it with dozens, if not hundreds of characters.
But he had so much time.
I'm just saying that's the magic.
Right. Of the amount of time that
that is the magic of those guys.
Yeah.
Of the Stan Lee and the George Lucas and the Walt Disney of the world. They created hundreds and hundreds of characters. I was always a little more myopic. I never had the want to create 100 characters because I thought that it would maybe distract me early in the game to try and do it. I saw some of my partners at Image create a studio on hundreds of characters, and I didn't feel that any one of them really popped. Yeah. So I just go, no, I'm just going to grind on one. And so I've always said to people, if anybody ever comes up to you and says, in a moment of insanity, says, oh, by the way, I'm so-and-so and I own the copyright to Superman, and they hand it to you. Do not ask, where's the copyright to Superboy and Crypto and Supergirl? Take the Superman copyright and run as fast as you can out of that room. Because if you have Superman or you have Mickey Mouse or you have Luke from Star Wars, and they don't give you anybody else, you still got gold, right? Yeah. One character can be gold to you, and you can build a world around that character, even if they don't give it. If somebody gave me Mickey Mouse and said, you don't get any of the other characters, I'll build a world around Mickey Mouse, right?
Yeah. Well, we're building a world around Spawn.
Well, that's it. That's
you're here, Rich, and Spawn, and you're going to be here all weekend. All weekend, you're doing
signing and panels and trying to inspire people, trying to be a bit of a dad.
And if you wouldn't mind just sharing off the shirt that you're going to be selling at the booths as well this weekend.
Yeah,
as well.
Like in 1992, that logo. I came up with that logo right there, right, and it was there. And the thing, and so sometimes people sit and go, oh, like Deadpool. And like, no, you got it wrong. Right, that Deadpool logo started getting used after, right? But again, they hit pop culture in a big way. But yeah, this one was I created it because I knew it wasn't going to be on his chest, right? So let me just get geeky as a comic book. That when I created Spawn, that I gave him I go, he's got to have a cape, he's got to have gloves, he's got to have boots, right? This is all classic 50s, superhero costume building, and because I was doing it at 16, right, in the 70s before I broke into comics. But when I got to doing with Image, and I go, but they all got their logos, right? So I go, he's not going to have it on his chest. What he's got is an M on his chest. Yeah. But I go, I got to have my logo. So to me, it's again going back to the Ford Mustang. Yeah. There's the Ford logo, and then there's the Mustang logo. And to me, they both mean Ford Mustang, right? So this means Spawn. I got a couple things that hopefully mean Spawn that quickly without having to write out the word.
It's very identifiable. It is very iconic, and it is Spawn. And ladies and gentlemen, this is Todd McFarlane, creator of Spawn. He will be here all weekend at San Diego Comic-Con. And where else can people find you if they're not going to be coming to the convention this weekend? What's the best place? McFarlane Toys?
We do. We're on Instagram and we're Facebook and Twitter and stuff. So you do the search, you'll get to all the names, right? We have pretty. I do little drawing lessons and do goofy stuff. So I like to have fun. Don't take myself too seriously.
Speaking of drawing lessons, I'm going to come by the booth later, and I want to get a cover of Spawn with Spawn breaking the marathon line with Cerebus right behind him, all pooped out at 300 on his chest, with Spawn with a 301 on his, and that's his number.
Maybe I'll make Spawn look like Usain Bolt, right? And you'll do the pose once he comes across. It'd be awesome. So
wonderful. Well, I can't wait to see Spawn 301, and I can't wait to see your work with DC Comics. That's
it'd be cool.
Coming out this week. This actually in 2020.
Yep.
And we're having a great time at San Diego Comic-Con. Wish you're here, and get down here if you can.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.